Hi friends, my name is Baji. Welcome to our channel. In today's video, we will cover exceptional handling structures, which is the final type of control structure in Groovy. We will try to understand what exactly an exception is, and we will also look at some reasons why these exceptions happen in program. We will also write some sample programs to understand this concept. Okay, so if you are watching this performance testing must-have skill series for the first time, please watch the previous videos first and then continue this video. You can find the link to the playlist series in the description. So without any further delay, let's get started. As usual, open the Visual Studio Code to start making some notes. To save some time, I have already created a file with the name groovy-part7.groovy. If you want to follow along, you can also create the same file or you can use any existing file. Just make sure that the file ends with .groovy because the compiler will only understand the files with .groovy extension. Okay, so first let's discuss what exactly an exception is. Basically, an exception is an abnormal condition or event that disrupts the normal flow of a program execution. It typically occurs when something unexpected happens that prevents the program from continuing its normal operation. Exceptions can occur due to several reasons. Let's look at some of those reasons now. Okay, so the first one is errors in code. This includes logical errors, syntax errors, or any invalid operation that violate the programming language's rules. So when developers write a program, so he need to make sure that he follows the rules defined in the programming. If there are any violations related to the syntax or invalid operation, then the program may throw some exceptions. Okay, and the second reason is external factors. Sometimes events from the outside of the program control, such as hardware failures, network issues, or user actions, can also throw some exceptions in the program. Okay, and the next one is invalid input. Sometimes when program receives unexpected or incorrect input from the user, that will also make programs to throw some exceptions because they don't understand the input. Okay, so using exception handling structures, programmers can anticipate and handle these unexpected situations. They can prevent their programs from crashing and also provide different ways to gracefully recover from that situation. Okay, so exception handling in Groovy is quite similar to handling exceptions in Java. Before going any further, let's quickly look at one sample program which throws some exceptions. Let's define a couple of variables like a and b. So a equal to 5 and b equal to 0, and using these two variables we will try to perform some division operation, and the result will try to store that in a new variable called result. So let's define a new variable called result and perform the division operation. So result equal to a divided by b, and try to print the result. So let's run this program and then see what will happen. So to run a program, we need to go to terminal and then write the command groovy space file name. So the file name is groovy-part7.groovy. So the program did not give the result. Instead, it throws some exceptions. So it is saying caught java.lang.arithmetic exception division by 0. So it is telling that it caught an arithmetic exception, and it is also giving some message like division by 0, and then it is giving some additional information. For example, on the line 3, it is also telling where exactly the exception is happening. So if you see here, this is a file name colon 9. So that means in this file, line number 9, we have that exceptions. The line number 9 is the division operation. So it is telling that when it tried to perform the division operation, it caught an exception, which is an arithmetic exception. So because of this exception, it did not execute the complete program. It did not print the result. So it stopped the program there itself and throws these exceptions. Let's say when you have 100 lines of code, when this exception happened, it did not execute all those 100 lines. It will stop immediately at that point and then it will throw this exception. So to avoid program crash like this, we want to handle in a graceful way using our exception handling structures. So that way the compiler will not terminate the program. So in Groovy we can handle these exceptions using two types. One, try catch. Another one is try catch final. First let's look at the try catch and then we will look at the try catch finally after that. Okay, first we will write the try keyword and then opening curly braces. After that we will write the code that might potentially throw an exception, and then we will end the corresponding closing curly braces. After that we will write the keyword catch. Within the parenthesis we will specify the type of exception we are expecting to occur, and then we will define a variable. Here I have given the name as e, but it can be anything, and then opening curly braces. After that we will write the code that will handle that exception, and finally the closing curly braces. So let's rewrite the same program using the try catch. So first we will write the try keyword, opening curly braces, and then define the variables a equal to 5, b equal to 0, and then defining the result variable which will store the division operation result. So a divided by b, and then finally println result. So we are trying to print the result, and after closing curly braces we should specify the catch block, the exception type. So we know the exception type for this operation is arithmetic exception, so we can use that type, and then space variable name. So we can say e. After that opening curly braces, here we'll simply write a meaningful message so user can understand why this exception happened. So we'll write println cannot divide by 0. So let's try to run the program and then see what will be the output. So this time instead of getting all these messages, we are simply getting the message that we want to show to the user. So So here we are telling, so this operation cannot divided by 0. So instead of throwing all these messages, we are giving a meaningful message to the user saying that it cannot divide by 0. So user can understand that in this operation he cannot use b as 0. So sometimes the program may throw different exceptions, right? I mean, it's difficult to remember all those exceptions. So like Java, Groovy provides a generic exception class which will handle all these exceptions. So instead of writing the arithmetic exception, we can simply write the exception. So that will handle all different types of exceptions that may occur in the program. Okay, so let's rerun the same program to make sure that it is working fine. So yeah, it is working fine. So this exception class provides different methods that can help programmers to make use of those methods and then provide proper output to the user. Okay, so the first method is get message. If you want to retrieve the default built-in message for that exception, you can make use of that get message method. So let's try to print that get message. So since we are using e as an exception class variable, so to invoke all those methods, we need to type e.getMessage and then opening and closing parentheses. Let's try to run the program. See, this is what the message that we were getting in the beginning, right, without try catch. So if you see the exception, so this is the message, division by 0. So the another type of method is print stack trace. So generally developers will read this print stack trace to understand the root cause of this issue. Okay, so let's try to run the program. So see, it is giving all the detailed information about this exception. So developers can go through this exception and then understand where exactly this is happening and why it is happening. So these are the two useful methods that we can make use of using exception class. Now let's look at the another type, try catch finally. First try to understand the syntax and then the program. Try catch finally syntax is pretty much similar to try catch. Only difference is we are adding additional finally block. So in the finally block, we will specify the code that we want to execute irrespective of error or exception. So if program throws some exception, in general scenario, it will terminate the program there itself, right? It will not execute anything else. So in those situations, we want to execute some specific code, then we can keep that code into this finally block. So we can have finally keyword, opening curly braces, and then put the code whatever we want compiler to execute irrespective of the exception, and then the closing curly braces. So let's rewrite the same program using try catch finally. So let's add the finally block and then opening curly braces. Let's say execution completed. So we want to print the message execution completed irrespective of the exception. Okay, so let's try to run the program again. See, we got the exception cannot divide by 0. It also come to here and then it printed the execution completed. So if you want to print anything irrespective of the exception, then you can make use of the finally block and put all the code there. Okay, so let's make this b as 5 and then see if our program is working as expected. This time it should not throw any exceptions because 5 can divisible by 5, right? So let's rerun the program. We got the result as 1 because 5 divided by 5 equal to 1. It stored the result as 1 and then it printed. It did not go to the catch block, but it went into the finally block and printed this message as well after the result message. So these are the two ways of handling exceptions in Groovy. I will also provide you the documentation reference link which explains the same concept. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for staying till the end. I hope that was informative and you understood all the concepts explained in this video. In case any specific concept is not clear or requires more detailed information, please feel free to mention it in the comment section. All these notes and programs have been uploaded in GitHub and you can find the link in the description. If you are new to our channel and if you enjoy this video, please consider subscribing our channel. If you like what you saw today, please give this video a thumbs up. Your support means a lot to me. If any of your friends are interested in learning performance testing, please share this series link to them so that they will learn all these concepts for free and get benefited. I'll see you with our next video in this module. Until then, take care, stay safe and keep learning.